A pleasant good morning to everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown. Here's what's trending on today's show. SWAC basketball tournament has changed its format. You heard it here first, May 30th, when Coach Kelvin Johnson, head men's basketball coach at Southern University, he talked about the upcoming changes. So it's official now. The SWAC office has released it. We'll talk a little bit about that. Also, NCAA Track and Field Outdoor Championship is going on. We'll take a look at how some of our HBCU athletes are doing. And then last but not least, the NBA Finals. Yeah, we're going to talk some NBA Finals. Can one say the biggest choke job in the history of the NBA? We'll talk about that. Now let's introduce the panel. One by one. Coach Pettaway.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Charles Edmond. Good morning, sir. And A.D. Willa Brown. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Right. Good morning.
You know, I got to always make sure it's afternoon for A.D. Willa Brown. And then also we have some watchers who watch the show there on the East Coast. So good afternoon to you. Well, where do we start? Well, before I get started, we have a new producer, G. Boom Holly. And see, on this network, you always have HBCU alum and graduates. So he's a Prairie View A&M graduate. So good morning to G. Boom Holly. Also, Chris Stanley. Good afternoon. He watches all the way from Miami, Florida. And he got his mother watching it. God bless her for his mother. So we appreciate everybody. Let me get situated on the iPad. There we go. There we go. Good afternoon and good morning to everybody. SWAC basketball tournament, Coach Pettaway. Coach Johnson talked about it on our show. And, you know, and afterwards I was like, I wonder if he was supposed to say that. But no. but he did. So basically he talked about it going from 12 to 10 teams. And then this time next year we'll know if it's down to 8. Now, across social media, you had some people, the majority of the people I saw, they were in favor of it, but I'm sure you had some that, you know, disagree with it. But Coach Pettaway, I said I liked it.
Right, and I think in Coach Johnson's defense, he was saying that the coaches had talked about, you know, reducing it. He was speaking on behalf of the coaches, not the conference. So I understood what he was saying because a lot of times they probably started discussing that at the tournament last year. Mm-hmm. You know, because, you know, when all the things came about with practice times and court time and that kind of stuff, so that was in the air last year. And so the coaches, you know, they got together on their own and were discussing it. So he just informed us. They got with the conference, and the conference decided the same thing, that we go to 10. I like it because what you're doing is now you're making the regular season more relevant. In other words, it means something to be to try to win the regular season, so you can get one of the double byes. So if you finish, if you got your team geared up to finish first or second, you can guarantee yourself being in the semifinals of the tournament. So you're only 2 games away from going to the dance. I think it's good. It's great for basketball. I think you'll see more competitive games, especially toward the end of the season, because everybody's going to be scrambling to try to get the buys. You know, after a long season, the bye can come in handy now, especially if you got injuries, nagging injuries. If you got a major injury, it's not going to help you anyway. You know, a lot of coaches, they'll look at it and say, well, we'll be off too long. You know, but if you do your practice times right, and if you put together some game type of experiences doing in those practices, you can keep them sharp. You can keep them where they'll be ready to go. I like it.
I put a check for me, Willer.
I kind of flip flop back and forth a little bit on it,
Mm-hmm.
because I like the competitive nature of it and teams having to fight to get to that semis as opposed to, being handed a silver platter. But, at the same time, it rewards success during the regular season.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. So you got to be, excited for that. And I'm sure the CEOs, the presidents, probably looked at it from a monetary point of view, because your teams that habitually in the bottom, which normally they don't have the resources required anyway. So it gives them a reason not to send them to the tournament, pretty much for a week's time. So, they're saving money, that sort of thing. So, I'm glad the coaches were listened to, and to me, that's kind of like a rarity. But, hopefully, they'll be able to get more of their ideas out there and be heard, that sort of thing. Because, presidents run the conference, and what they say goes. There's no doubt about that. So for all the flack that the commissioners catching and all that sort of thing, folk need to understand, it ain't the commissioner. It's the presidents of the conference, and ultimately he serves their will. So I mean, those that are on them need to get up off of him and let the man doing a job. He's doing a hell of a job, no doubt.
Charles, pros and cons and everything. In life, a little rain must fall. Sometimes it's a little discomforting, but I think the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. And as a fan, as a SWAC fan, take the broadcaster out of it. As a SWAC fan, I would like to see 8 teams because I think you talk about getting improved talent with the transfer portal, pay for play, you're getting improved talent. And you talk about, and if what Coach Johnson says is true, you're going to 8 eventually. You're really talking about competitive basketball at that point, because the bottom 4 will be out. But as of right now, 10 teams. I'm for it. I respect the Student Athlete Advisory Committee in terms of, when it went to 12, they want the experience, but obviously that has changed. And so, I think a lot of people kind of rag on the commissioner, and I think Coach Pettaway said it, Wheeler said it, and I'm going to say it. Anytime there's a change in policy, brackets, location of tournaments, people blame the conference office. And I'm in error for not saying this more often. The conference office gets involved on the back end. It starts with the coaches. Coaches approve, it goes to the ADs. Then the senior women, chancellors, provost, president. When it's handed to the conference office is a facilitator. They facilitate policy.
It's a process.
It's a process. And I think we have to, I think I have to do a better job in continuing to say that, because a lot of people are ragging on the commissioner because of it. The commissioner takes the policy that's approved and has to implement it. So I want to say that first. And so with that being said, going to 10 teams and changing it a year out, I was really kind of surprised, to be honest, because normally the conference office kind of experiments a couple of years to see, just to put a flyer out there to see if it works. For it to change after 1 year is kind of surprising to me, but I get it. I understand it. And so I think people want to see competitive basketball. Even though the bottom teams are going to be out, as Wheeler said, the budgetary situations is in play as well. I'm in favor of 10. If it goes to 8, I'm good with 8. Back in the day, we had the top 8, and then the top 4 played a home game. If you remember that, I really like that, because you talk about incentives to play that first round tournament game at home. Now, from a budgetary standpoint, if you're on the back end of that, you got to travel here and then travel to the tournament site. So from a financial perspective, it might not be feasible now. But I am in favor of 10. And if it goes to 8, I'm really in favor of it, because really you're going to see a lot of competitive basketball at that point.
Yeah. Hey, Will, I want to bring something to your attention. Back when I was in the back, when the basketball coaches met, you had an AD that was responsible for your sport. Our guy was our commissioner. He sat in on our meetings. He took what we wanted as coaches. He took that to the other ADs, and then the other ADs took it to the president, and it went up. We had a great voice. He was always a voice for men and women's basketball.
And that's the most important. That's the most important thing that's necessary. You know, the AD that's over that particular sport.
Yep.
You know, is the advocate for that sport. Yep. You know, and that's their job, to take back the concerns of the coaches, you know, back to the commissioners and back to the power that be, and to push it, you know, in conjunction with the rest of the ADs, that sort of thing. So it's the ADs that drum up the support amongst the other ADs, and they continue to push that thing forward, push it to, you know, towards the commissioner, that sort of thing. He takes it to the presidents, and, you know, this is what my guys want, all that sort of thing. And let's see if we can make a move on it. Right. But you're absolutely right, Coach Pettaway, and it's good if you have a AD that likes that particular sport.
Right.
You know, like I probably wouldn't be good for tennis and golf. You know, you know, that sort of thing and stuff. But, you know, if you have an AD that's truly interested in that particular sport, and he's the advocate, you know, for that particular sport, then he's going to do all he can to push and make sure that you get the support necessary.
Yeah. We had a great voice, man. He was always, you know, he was amenable to coming in when we needed him to come in. And if it was a hot button issue, we as coaches would talk about it first. We bring him in. We convince him that this is the route that we wanted to go. And Dr. McClellan, he just took it and he ran with it, man. He was a great voice for us. And I guess that's why he's a great commissioner now, because he advocates for his people. And I think that's important as an athletic director, as an administrator. Let's put it that way. That's very important, man. You gotta feel and hear the pulse of your people, and if you believe in them, then you have to be their voice and their advocate, man. And he did that for us as the chairman of the basketball committee, and then now he's doing it, of course, as our commissioner.
Well, you know the modern day position for that now, right? You know what that's called now? A general manager.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these programs have general managers over that particular sport.
Yep, on the Power 4. You're right. They got.
I think at some of our schools, I think you're going to see some of that take place. If it's not happened already, where you have a GM over football or GM over men's basketball.
I just think that's so unnecessary, though, guys. To me, that's just so unnecessary. You know, I just think it's a waste of funding, a waste of money, monies that can go towards NIL or NFL or whomever. You know? So, you know, I mean, we talk about not having enough to do this and do that, you know, but it just seems like we just making stuff up, you know, in terms of putting people in positions, that sort of thing.
It's interesting. Don't rain on my next job, man. Don't rain on my next job.
Hell, it might be my next job, Coach.
Yeah, I would love to do that for basketball, for men and women's basketball. I would love to do that, man. And because athletics has changed so much, they got to add all these positions, man, because one person cannot do everything that needs to be done now. Really, you got some people, their only job is the NIL. Somebody else, their job is the collective. Yeah. Everything's, man, every change creates another reaction somewhere else, man.
But, you know, not to get off topic, you know, I talked to a couple coaches this past week, football coaches. HBCU D1 football coaches. And, you know, we were all talking about the NIL situation, that sort of thing. And, there was one coach, who I won't name because I won't put his name out there. But he told me he had 2 kids that got NIL money last year. They were both offensive linemen. I think he said one kid got 20,000, another kid got 30,000. They had both of the kids came out of the transfer portal, la-di-da, so forth, so on. He said those kids stunk it up.
Uh-oh.
And he said, Will, I had walk-ons that was running rings around these kids.
Wow.
And it just totally, this was his first time dipping his toe in the water, but he's adamant that he don't ever want to spend money, NIL money, on a player unproven again. He said, Will, I would have rather taken that money and redid the locker rooms and all that sort of thing and stuff and, gone that route as opposed to playing a kid who I thought was this, but wound up being that. Right. And, so, I mean, that's just, like I said, a few stories out there, that sort of thing. And like Coach Pettaway said, until we learn how to navigate this thing, we're going to fumble the ball more so than we get across the finish line, especially on our level.
And Willa, there are plenty of coaches across the country that are saying kids who are on NIL need to be refunded money to the school. Because it's just like in recruiting. You don't, for the people that don't know, you don't always hit a home run on recruiting now.
That's true. That's true.
Now that same recruit comes with a bag. He's got a money bag with him. So if you screw up and you miss out on a recruit, when I say miss out, you misjudge his talent and how he's gonna fit into your program. Then you stuck 2 ways. You gave up a scholarship that you can't get back, and you're giving up a bag.
Yeah.
So it's a double whammy now. So that's why you got to be careful about who you recruit. The recruiting process has to be streamlined, and you definitely got to pay attention to who and how much you're giving these players.
Well, you know what I'm going to say? It was at one point where the scholarship was guaranteed for 4 years. That's not the case anymore. Then I agree. You have to do your homework when you're recruiting. And a lot of people get caught up on 5 stars, 4 stars. I had a coach explain that to me. That was basically, he said, the kids that go to a lot of camps automatically
camp fodder. Yeah. That's all it is.
But look, automatically be 5 stars because they go to a lot of camps. We always give the example of in Louisiana. You remember Gary James and Dalton Hilliard? Coach Pettaway, Gary James came from West Jefferson High School in Gretna, Louisiana, New Orleans.
And I remember Hilliard. Yep.
One had a 5-star rating, one had a 2-star rating. Guess who had the 2-star rating? If the story is how it was told to me, Dalton Hilliard.
You're right, Hilliard.
Who had the better career in college? Dalton Hilliard.
Yep.
He went to the NFL, had a better career, and you still have to coach and develop, no matter. So I look at the transfer portal in NIL, cost of attendance. Yeah, it's all an ever-changing landscape in college athletics, but you still have to do your homework.
Oh, yeah.
That might be the thing for today's show. Do your homework.
And answering Dr. Cavill, I saw his comment underneath there. That's the reason why you need a general manager. To me, a GM would not make a difference on our level because we're not getting the best of the best in the beginning. Yeah, so even the kids that come to us out of the transfer portal, that sort of thing, they come into our schools. We're still not getting the best of the best. So we can look at the high school tape and all that sort of thing and stuff, and obviously they're transferring out of the schools that they're at, so they may not be that talented to begin with. So we think we got a steal because we see a high star next to a kid's name, that sort of thing, or this, that, and the other, and there's no guarantee of success there. So I think the intangibles, a GM can't find those intangibles. We're all operating under the same auspices, that sort of thing. And so, we all rolling the dice. We all in Vegas. We all rolling the dice. Sometimes you're gonna hit, sometimes you're gonna miss.
Right.
And you kind of keep it moving from there.
Yeah, but you got to hit more than you miss, though. If you're
You
gonna
sure do. Ain't no doubt 300 batting average ain't gonna get it, Coach.
But
you can't bat 300 in this game, baby.
but the mission of most HBCUs is kind of the analogy of we take some student athletes that quote unquote society says not ready. Mm-hmm. And we take them and we develop them, and when we turn them out, they can compete with anybody.
Yeah,
right. But let me tell you something, Carlos. You cannot fill your roster with kids like that. No. You better have some kids that are already ready to play while you waiting on that kid to develop. Else you'll be out of a job. I'm saying when you construct your roster. You gotta have people that are ready to compete for you right now, right? And then that guy that you got to develop, he can come along. That's where the depth comes into play. I'm bringing along a kid that's not ready to be. We know he's got the talent, but he's not ready right now. So
because of lack of patience.
Yes.
From administrators and presidents, that sort of thing, we're relegated to that now.
Yep.
Back in the day, you had the time necessary to do all those things that we needed to do, but not today.
Yep.
Well, it means if you got a Pinto, you need to get an upgrade. But seriously. I understand. I really do. I get it. College athletics has changed. We talk sometimes about things, how we did business in the 80s and the 90s and even the 2000s, 2010s. Those days are gone. I get it. But you still have to, in my opinion, kind of be the best of both worlds. You have a mission to get those kids in, transform them, turn them out. They're good. From an athletic standpoint, we got a couple of HBCU athletes in track and field. Wheeler at North Carolina A&T doing very
well. Doing real well.
The young lady from Southern University.
Bama State had a young lady, I think, that's doing well. Yep.
So we still competing, but we just our trip is a little longer because you don't have the resources like some of the big schools, and I think it's just a crime to always, you bring them up for an example, but we're not even close on that level. Now, the group of 5. That's maybe a situation where you can gain on them. Like we had the show about the NIL a couple of weeks ago, and I got some information that there are some schools like McNeese and Stephen F. Austin. They have programs where some of the kids are getting $800,000-900,000. So where is the balance, or is there a balance?
There is none.
Because you can't
Will never be.
If you can't compete on that level, then you're at this level. Then how do you get through? How do you compete?
And then the thing that to me that's hurting, I mean, what I see, just because you have the money and you use the money, it doesn't guarantee you a championship.
No, it don't.
Oh,
no, it don't.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's not guarantee a championship.
Man, come on.
I'm being
Look
facetious.
at how many schools are spending over. Look how many schools are spending that $20 million on them athletes, and that's the bottom. You got programs that are spending over $50 million on these athletes, and they don't have championships, man.
Gotta find that sweet spot, whatever that is.
It don't do nothing but get you fired faster. That's all it does.
I think that's exactly correct, and I think that's why the pressure is what it is. I mean, you would rather spend the money, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, rather than not spend it at all or not spending enough to get that top tier talent. You will get fired quicker. So it is a roll of the dice. Even in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, we talked about players $200,000 quarterback, if that's true. You're talking about $100,000 basketball player. You're talking about $500,000 basketball roster, but you got to spend it to get the type of talent to be able to win in this conference.
Just to stay competitive.
Stay competitive.
Yeah.
And now if we're talking about 8 teams in the next couple of years or next year making a tournament, and you're talking about improved rosters, you're talking about the quality of talent that's gonna take to make the top 8. I mean, I just looked at the standings over the last couple of years. 7-11 was an 8 seed, 8-10, 9-9. I think it's going to improve. I think to make the top 8, if we get to that point, what is it going to take? 9-9, 10-8. If it gets to that point, that's some pressure, especially if all teams are going to be improved in basketball. For example, Valley's going to be better with Mike Davis. Jake Morton's building an improved roster. Trey Johnson's building an improved roster. Byron Smith's going to have an improved roster. So as we look forward, it's going to take a lot to make the tournament. And so you got to pay for that talent. And so you rather pay for the talent. If it doesn't work, you're not going to make it. You probably will be canned, but you'd rather spend it and roll the dice rather than not even sniff it. So I think this is just a gamble, whether it's $50 million, $60 million roster, or whether it's $500,000 in basketball. You got to roll the dice and do it.
To each his own. One blueprint that works for one may not work for others. And I think we're in a dangerous moment. We better be very careful. I'm gonna just be honest with you. When I hear 800,000, 120,000, and we're still at a level, and then you look, I just said don't compare apples and oranges, but I'm gonna do it. Then you have the big schools with all that money, and you still not guaranteed a championship.
Right.
We're in a dangerous position, I think. We have to be very careful. You know, 100. I would be frank and upfront with student athletes. It's just like you have a household budget, right, Coach Pettaway? We all got one, right? I would love to have a $400,000 house. I don't have it right now. I would love to have a salary 3 times what I'm making now, but I don't have it. So what can I do? Either one, I try to better position myself, or I live within my means and then just try to do the best I can.
Right. Because because even with that, Carlos, your means is getting shorter because and let me explain what I'm saying about that. The talent pool that we have to pull from now is becoming smaller and smaller. Because of the NIL, the kids that we used to get, they're now sitting on those benches for these other schools because they're getting it bad. We're not getting them at our school because the other schools are able to say, well, you can make this. They're not guaranteeing playing time. They're giving them the bag to get them there.
Mm-hmm.
And those are kids that we used to get on our campuses. And that's what's hurting us, man.
And now sitting on the bench.
Right, at another school.
So
because of the bag.
They rather the bag, and it's like the hell with their competitiveness.
Right.
You know, trying to get, like I said, we're in a dangerous, I still stand on it. We're in a dangerous point. Dangerous point. Our ceiling is our ceiling. We've talked about how can we get a team with a conference with an extra team in. It just seems like that's, look, Charles shaking his head.
Yeah, we get further away from that.
So our ceiling is there. So what do we do? We just live with that and that's it?
Until the hierarchy changes up top. Until it changes up top. This is a top-down type situation.
Wow.
You know, not the other way around. Yeah. So I mean,
hey, Will, you reestablish your expectations. That's what.
That's true. You have to. You have to. There's no doubt about that. And you lower those expectations.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You got to.
In football, it's Celebration Bowl
or bust.
Right. Somebody said that before. Basketball, it's basically you hope to get a 15th seed, but you're doomed at a 16. And Coach Johnson came on the show and said sometimes it's okay to dream. It is. And certain exceptions, you've had HBCU teams get a 14 seed. The year Southern got a higher seed. Jackson State went to the NIT. I would like to see those days come back.
The NIT is not coming back. The NIT has already put their foot in the ground, and they pretty much have done away with a SWAC team getting in the NIT. You know, I've been in two of them recently with Landon Bussey. They changed the criteria, and we're out of that conversation for right now. And with the expansion of the NCAA tournament, it is going to be really tough, if not impossible, for us to get anything higher than what we've had.
Yeah. Expansion wasn't meant with us in mind.
Exactly.
It wasn't. It wasn't designed with us in mind. You know, it was designed to get more PWI participation into the NCAA tournament. That's the bottom line.
Well, I'll still be sitting in the top of that arena when conference play. I'll try to be excited because what I'm hearing is the only thing is guaranteed is death and taxes. And death, you don't have no choice. Taxes, you have a choice. You don't have to pay them. Now, it'll be consequences. I'm gonna be up in the arena with the sun. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing in non-conference. It's conference that you got to win. Wow.
My thing, Carlos, is who is the next $100,000 roster coming out of the SWAC that's not going to make it to the championship game of the SWAC tournament? Which one? Who's it going to be? Because every year somebody that's ranked high.
Well, at least
and they don't exceed expectations.
It might be a little easier now because if you got that, you ain't got to win but one game to get there.
But Coach Fetterway, who's going to be that hot team? That's going to come from the bottom.
Who's going to be that Prairie View?
Yeah. Well, you got to think about that too.
I had somebody text me, and he, Southern was the regular season champion. They lost, right? In the first round. Then Bethune-Cookman this past season, right? And I think he was a BCU alum. He was like, doggone it. Every time y'all talk about somebody coming up in the regular season champ for the second year in a row doesn't get it done. the kiss of death. He literally believed that. But it's honestly, when you get to that tournament time, you wipe the slate clean. It's zero to zero.
And that's probably for those who want to see all 12 teams in. For those who push that narrative, look at what's happened in this conference. You don't have the top dogs winning the tournament. With the buys and the extra buys and all that, you hadn't seen that. And so it's like, well, why are we doing this when you had Prairie View, who was an 8th seed, who was near the bottom, got hot in the last month of the season, and they sizzled in the tournament and did damage in the tournament. Some people probably are saying, what are we doing? I mean, because the SWAC is so wide open once you get to the tournament. You saw it in the baseball tournament. Softball kind of went true to form, but some people are probably saying, why don't I just let everybody in and just play it out? But I get the competitive aspect of it. I get the fact that you want to earn your way in the tournament. You just don't want to show up 1-17 and get in the tournament and hope to catch a blaze of glory there. I get that. I get it. So I think for that aspect of it, it definitely is worth the conversation. But the coaches obviously saw that something had to be done with the format of the tournament. The commissioner mentioned to me when I interviewed him in Atlanta that there was going to be some discussions. So maybe I should have got the hint that maybe something could possibly happen. But again, the commissioner's on the back end, not the front end of that conversation.
As the real say, I hear you, Charles, but no 12 seed is winning the tournament. And look, the last couple of years has been like that. But I know I talked to Dr. Cavill once, and I think he did a study on it. I'm gonna just say and if I'm in error, he'll correct me. The majority of the time, the higher seeds have won the tournament more so than the last couple of years. So when that happens, it's one extreme, but let's not go to the other extreme. Dr. Cavill, if you can answer that for me, I think it's happened more times than not. The higher seeds have won the tournament. But there have been some exceptions. And if you're just tuning in, the last 2 years you've seen it happen. So does that mean it happens more so than not? I'm gonna say no. I'm just saying the last 2 years it happened.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's and that would be good. I mean, if you have those higher seeds, we've had this crazy conversation. I wouldn't say crazy, but we've had this conversation about the regular season champ going to the NCAA tournament without the tournament. We've had that conversation before. That'll never happen. I think coaches will flip the table over and burn down a building.
I'll be transparent, Charles. We've had a long history together. I did at one time would have liked to see the regular season champion go straight to the NCAA tournament because of one big league. That was 20 years ago. And now still 20 years later, a one big league.
Yeah. And it's going to stay that way. I mean, especially with the expansion of the tournament. I just think we have to do the best we can, every program. And I've seen some of the comments. Look, there are some programs in this league, and I know some people in certain schools in this league. Look, just do the best you can. We're going to give you all the tools that we can possibly give you. Do the best you can. We're going to honor the contract. We expect you to honor the contract, and we'll evaluate it when it's over. We may not be able to give you all the top flight NIL dollars. We're going to give you what we can give you, the best to our ability, and you do the best of your ability to win as many games as possible. We kind of saw that with UAPB men and women. UAPB's men basketball did really well. UAPB's women did really well. I mean, so you see that throughout the league. There's some schools that are going to be on the come up for sure. And so I think with that, do the best you can. We're going to put as many tools in the toolbox for you. And let's just see how it all shakes out. Come conference time. Now, non-conference, we understand that's an administrative decision, even though the coaches put the schedule together. But from an administrative standpoint, you got to get a certain amount of money. You go get it. Anything over that, you keep for your program. So that precedent has been set. Wheeler's talked about that. We've talked about it. So in terms of the dollars that could go possibly to your NIL budget. So that I
But
think that
it's hard when your roster is turning over every year. It's difficult. I take Jake, at Alcorn. He lost what, 8 kids or so?
the
Yeah,
whole
maybe
team,
9 kids.
the whole team,
So I mean, he's in essence he's starting over from scratch.
correct.
What kind of chance do you really believe that he could have? Yeah. So I mean, it's just something that there's no positives to a lot of these entire situations. We still hoping and praying even in 2026.
And from what I'm hearing, another 20 years, we'll be still talking about the same thing. Coach Petaway, you had a lustrous career. Point blank question. Would you, coaching in this time, would you have the record that you had when you retired? And what could you do besides, I heard you say you got to get some dogs, you got to get some athletes in. Is it just one answer? I think
No. I don't think you'd be as successful now because number one, I retain those kids. From year to year, I had the same kid. With the way the rosters are turning over now, no, you're not going to be able to do that because you're not going to have the chemistry every year. When you consistently turn your roster over, you're not going to have the chemistry that's needed to win close and tough games.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. Now, in terms of the X's and O's, could I coach now? Heck yeah, I can coach. But here's the thing. I wouldn't want to deal with all this other stuff, man. This NIL, this kid coming to me, I'm in the recruiting process and all he's talking about is the bag. What you going to do? What are you going to do to help me win? But they all they talk about is the bag. The recruiting process has changed, man. X's and O's are going to be there. But, man, getting the kids now and then retaining them. Because if you get that breakout kid, he has a good year for you, somebody going to need you to get him off your roster. So I won't have the consistency. I recruited mostly high school kids so that I can have them. So I can keep the thing going. You are not gonna have enough consistency turning over your roster every year. That's not gonna happen, man.
And it makes me think about, I said earlier, when back in the day you signed a freshman, that scholarship was guaranteed for 4 years. Even if a medical emergency happened, you still had to honor it.
Right.
The purest of days, now it's not. And yeah, I get it. It's a lot of pressure turning it over every year. If you're blessed that if somebody comes and they stay 2 years,
right?
Right. There are some exceptions. Like Kelby Gibbons said, he could have went for the bag, but it's short-term success. The heck with long-term success and strategy.
Right. And but see, I think one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that as the rosters turn over, the coaches are doing all they can to try to keep up with this process, man. And it's going to change from year to year. One of the things that will help us was the 5 to play 5. Now, but it's going to take another year or so for that to come about because what you had grown men playing against high school kids before this rule came in. But now with the 5-5, with the age limit, now you're going to have more kids in line with each other. You're not going to have these 27, 28-year-old men going up against these 18, 19-year-olds. That's going to balance out. And that'll help you. No, I'm serious. That's what this was all about. Like these coaches going overseas, getting these guys that have played professional ball for 2 or 3 years, bringing them over here talking about as a freshman. That's not fair, man. Well, that's not fair at all.
Somebody in this town is doing it. I won't mention any names. Yeah. Dr. Kavir had an interesting question. Come in. How did JUCO coaches win and JUCO programs become consistent in championships compared to others? How did JUCO coaches win and JUCO programs become consistent in championships compared to others?
Well, because you got so many JUCO programs, they're not as all the JUCO programs are not as talented as these four-year institutions. In other words, you got, to me, you have more talent at the four-year institutions as a whole versus JUCO. You got 5 or 6 JUCOs that's going to dominate, okay, because they get the best players. The other JUCOs can't compete with them because they do get the best players. So that, to me, is more watered down in JUCO. I guess that's
and it's easier. It's easier on the JUCO level because 9 times out of 10, you know what kind of kid you're getting in. It's a kid that has some academic issues, has some academic problems, that sort of thing. They're less likely to jump from school to school, JUCO-wise, especially if they've had a good experience with you at your particular JUCO. And this is coming from being a head JUCO coach for 8 years. So I mean, you see the turnover. The turnover is expected somewhat. But there are enough kids out there, Carlos, that can't get it done in the classroom, that's looking for a JUCO opportunity, that's not going to be able to get that same opportunity on a 4-year level. If you can turn a trick and get a kid up out of that JUCO, that sort of thing, that enhances your reputation as a JUCO coach. And kids want to come and be a part of your program. So you truly talking apples and oranges in terms of a JUCO coach situation as opposed to an NCAA coach situation, especially today.
Right. But Wheeler, guess what? We're gonna find out. You know why? Because that's what we're turning into, JUCO. Because of transfer portal. So what is gonna happen? What has to happen? It's going to take these coaches who have been at the 4-year level for all these years. It's going to take a learning curve for them to get used to that swing of starting over a new roster every year. So it's going to be challenging, but over time, these coaches will make that adjustment, and they will know. I'm going to tell you one of the things you might see. You might see these 4-year institutions hiring more JUCO coaches as assistants.
You might be right.
To help them understand how to turn these rosters over. Because this is all
I've always pushed kids out the door. If a kid came in and he got academically situated, he was a good player, that sort of thing, I'm pushing that kid out the door. I'm not even keeping that kid for 2 full years. If the one and done, if the opportunity presents itself, you got to get out of here. You got to go. I'm not going to deny that opportunity, not going to talk bad about you or anything like that. And the word spreads. Kids talk to other kids. That's sort of, you want to go play for Coach Brown because, if you're good enough to get out of there after 1 year, your grades are where they need to be, that sort of thing. He's going to push you to the next level. So we have to look at our mission in terms of what we're there for. And we're there to get them kids off of the JUCO level into the next situation as quickly and as soon as possible.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking kind of about we started with the SWAC basketball tournament format. And it involved into transfer portal, NIL. Thank goodness I didn't bring up cost of attendance. Because, after the other show, I said, and I'll pick up Dr. Cavill again. I said, is it better that all get some or some get all? And I think that's Cavill. When I went back and looked at the chat room, he said some just get more, as far as what kind of where we at in this thing. If if a person went to sleep 100 years ago, we won't even say 100, 50 years ago, and he wakes up now, and let's say he was a PE coach or athletic administrator or coach, he would be kind of shocked. He really would be. I'm just gonna be brutally honest. This conversation today, it's kind of taking the energy out of me. Because then I look at it from a standpoint, it's like being told, this is it. You can't go any further.
Right.
And it kind of makes me sad. It really does. But football season is coming up. SWAC Football Media Day. They still have goals. They still want to get to Atlanta. That's still the same. Is it Celebration Bowl or bust? I think it's more true today than ever. And when we get to Birmingham, I was talking to a friend. I'll probably get to meet Coach Falk personally because the media is going to be all over him. All over him. Charles, just like you remember when Coach Sanders was there. Then you look at the players there. Everybody's going to talk to the coaches. Now, I'll give Keisha Kelly a plug. She always talks with the athletes. But the attention is going to be on the coaches. Is that right or wrong? It is what it is. But guess what, Coach Pettaway? They will be swarming around Coach Falk. And I'm just going to be in the back of the room just saying, I'm going to talk to everybody.
But you know what? Hey, Charles, isn't it the case in every conference? If you go to SEC, they all about the coaches. They ain't about the players.
Well, I'll say this. I think there's going to be a lot of folks around Tremaine Jackson.
Yeah, obviously.
He talked the talk and backed it up. Atlanta. That's what he said 12 months ago. Wore the t-shirt and all, and he backed it up. So I think there'll be a lot of people around Tremaine Jackson. I want to talk to Marshall Falk, and I want to get a picture with Marshall Falk for selfish reasons. And I've said this before. Marshall Falk played for my hometown team, the St. Louis Rams, brought me a Super Bowl. I'm going to shake his hand, and I'm going to take a picture with him because I want to thank him for what he did when he played for the Rams with the greatest show on turf, Kurt Warner and Isaac Hope and all of that. So there's a selfish reason, number one, why I want to talk to Coach Falk. But what I think, for SWAC Football Media Day, I think it's going to be really intriguing. I mean, T.C. Taylor didn't get there. There's going to be a lot of people trying to figure out what's next for Jackson State and getting back up there. Even Alcorn. I mean, this for Cedric Thomas. We're one of the hotter teams to end the season, winning 5 out of 6. We got our quarterback in Jalen Tolbert. That's going to be talked about. Tremaine Jackson, Marshall Falk, Brown and Alabama A&M's coming back. Alabama State.
Yep.
I think that's my pick to win the East, ladies and gentlemen. I'm putting it out there now. With your quarterback coming back at Alabama State, he's gonna be a difference maker.
Yep.
And I was gonna pick Jackson until he decided to come back. And that game in Montgomery, Jackson and Alabama State gonna be one of the big games of the year. So I think there's gonna be a lot of little side storylines with coaches and players. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it all, what the voters think. Where's Southern gonna be picked? Even though it doesn't matter, it's just fodder for us to talk about and cry about. But still, I'm anxious to see what the voters think, where these teams are gonna rank. I'm anxious to see, Carlos, where Southern is gonna be picked.
Oh, I knew you would. I knew you would.
I'm being selfish on this here.
I'm not being selfish.
I think it's a travesty. I think it would be a travesty for Coach Falk not to sit down with Carlos Brown prior to coming to the media day.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I can't get with that. I'm being biased and naturally, but that's just should not happen.
Well, the guy's a national brand. I get it, but let me go back. I'll come back to that. I think, and we can look at it after it's over with. I think Coach Falk will have the most attention. Tremaine probably second. TC Taylor likes it. He likes not being just from what I gather. But everybody talking to him. Let's just be honest. Every year, I can tell you now, Prairie View going to be picked first in the West because they won it all. Jackson's going to be number one in the East. Alabama, I'm still with what A.D. Wheeler Brown says. But Alabama State, it's like they always at the door, but they never kick it in. They never kick it in. Will this year be the year they do it? I don't know.
It better be the year.
Let me ask you this. Who has a better quarterback room? Who has a better quarterback room in the SWAC?
Now, quarterback room. We're talking about more than one? Or we talking about who has the best quarterback?
No, quarterback room. Who's got the most talent in their room besides Alabama State? Name another program that's got two proven quarterbacks in that room right now, like Alabama State.
I kind of like Jackson State quarterback room.
Yeah.
Hold up now. He got hurt. You're right. He got hurt toward the end of the year. Yep.
Yeah, but that young man that came in, he did well.
Yeah, he was chopped liver. He wasn't chopped liver now. That's for sure.
But Charles, wouldn't you rank Alabama State's quarterback room as number one?
Yeah, probably because of one person.
Yeah. With Andrew Body there, I mean, if Carlos brought up a good point, if you're just talking about quarterback, okay, I think it's still yet to be determined the quarterback rooms because it's still yet to be determined as far as the quarterback rooms are concerned. We know at Alcorn, Jalen Tolbert is going to be our starting quarterback, and he was one of the better quarterbacks in the league last year towards the end of the season. And if he picks up where he left off, the Braves will be right there. You got Lockhart at Jackson State, who came on and won the biggest game of the year for Jackson State last year at Florida A&M. In my opinion, that was the biggest game of the year for them because they lost to Grambling the week before. Brown got hurt at Alabama A&M. Will he be 100%? I would. It's hard for me to determine the quarterback rooms, but I think in terms of quarterback, Andrew Body number one. I would put Lockhart 2, and I'll put Jalen Tolbert right up there as far as the top three. Southern University, I don't know. I mean, Marshall Falk, I don't know. Carlos, you might have some information in terms of who Southern's starting quarterback.
I'm not going to say. All I know it's going to be a competitive room. They added a young man who, if I'm not mistaken, he led the team to the JUCO national championship, but it's still in the summer.
Right.
Rosters still are going to develop additions, subtractions. At this point, if it's additions, wow. But we saw that last year with Struthers. He basically came to fall camp after it started.
Yeah.
So he has improved. But it'll be interesting. All the little sidebars and the stories. In the chat room, some says, even the Jack State people say Alabama State has the best quarterback room. Now, God forbid if somebody goes down, like if Andrew Body goes down. And then Coach Pettaway, the most seasoned quarterback is Brown, right?
Right, Quad is back. Yeah.
Year what? 6, 7?
Yep, somewhere like that. Yep.
But how healthy is he though? I mean, he's back, but is he? Do you think he'll be healthy?
The coaching staff thinks that he'll be ready to go day one.
Well, you can also say about, oh man, this might be touching, but Andrew Body has been, being upright.
Seems like we've been talking about him for the last 3-4 years now.
Well,
how much eligibility does he have?
No, wait a minute, AD.
Well, that's a good point. Because I thought he was done. I thought Andrew Body was done. I did. And you look up and he does have another year. He hit the portal and then, and then he came back. For all the people that talk about Andrew Body, there's some that I've talked to that just aren't Body believers. He takes 2 steps forward and then 2.5 steps back. He was 4 yards and 1 play away from beating Jackson State last year. And so if he's improved, if that defense is better, and if Body and that offense is good, that could be a problem, for other teams. But again, we'll see. I mean, if you're just pulling for good stories, that's a good story to pull for, because he was at Texas Southern, couldn't quite get it done there, was hurt. Was at Alabama State, a good story, got hurt. So, I mean, I think there are a lot of people pulling for Body, but then when you look at the football side of it, some people just don't think he's the answer. Maybe he's undersized, whatever the case, but there are some people out there just ain't a Body believer. I am, because I think it's a great story, and he was 4 yards and 1 play away from getting Alabama State to where they want to be.
A great story, but a tremendous athlete. And a very good quarterback. Now, tidbits, I think it's valid. Alabama State, this has to be the year. We have got to prove it. They've got to kick the door in, Willer. They've been there. Let's not think Jackson State's not going to have anything to say with it. Like I said, they're going to have Prairie View and Jackson State pick. There's no secret about that. But the good thing is you can compare and contrast, right? You can come back at the end of the year and see how all those prognosticators, did they get it right? It was one school was picked 4th, and they won it. It was one school picked 1st, they finished 4th.
Yeah.
But when you see that fall count,
but Eddie Robinson has been given a whole lot of leeway, that sort of thing, and for to have expectations high, he's never really been under the kind of pressure administratively to get it done. So it just appears that he's able to relax and really get the job done, knowing that the AD there, Dr. Cable, is behind him 100%. And he's able to take the time necessary to get it done. So I mean, out of all the situations that we've talked about, his seems to be probably one of the most advantageous, simply because it does not appear to be pressure there like that.
I'm going to point a finger at you, A.D. Willer Brown. I suspect you're just not a believer in Alabama State. We can go back and roll the tape, Coach Cutaway, for the last 2 years. He's a down Thomas.
And by the way, don't we owe congratulations to Coach Alabama State too? Didn't he go in the Hall of Fame this week?
Yes, he did. SWAC Hall of Fame. Sure did. Yeah. I mean, Black College Hall of Fame.
Black College Hall of Fame, yes.
Yeah.
Eddie Robinson.
And he's a nice guy. When I talk to him, he always tells me, I'm a Louisiana native. Yes, I know, Coach Robinson.
Well, Carlos, I got a question for you. I mean, we're talking about these other teams. Where do you think Southern University is going to be picked?
I knew that question was coming. I was ready. I have my notes. Some people said it's Southern Charles' second favorite team. As I drop my pen, where I think I'll give the answer where I think the prognosticators will have them. They'll have them, I think, 3rd. You shocked that I didn't say 1st?
Yes.
No, why? What? I mean, Southern's basically unknown right now. Would you agree with that or disagree?
I would agree, being an unknown, but we can agree that Southern won 2 games last year.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. I love you, Jaguar Nation.
Oh, here we go.
I
5,
love you.
4, 3, 2, 1.
5, 4, 3. They got to start from 100 and count all the way down. We ain't got that kind of time. Carlos, I'm gonna say 5th.
Wow.
Realistically,
Bill,
middle of the pack.
Realistically,
Realistically,
you won 2
middle of the
games.
pack.
You got a new coach. You got this go offense. You got Trey Holly, who's a great building block in the backfield. The unknown.
Got an interesting story about Trey Holly.
I'm almost. I mean, of course, I'm gonna say Alcorn Prairie View 1-2, 2-1, however way you want to look at it.
Wow, the purple and gold glasses are thick.
I would say, yeah. I mean,
you got. Wait a minute. We got to get to a break. But you're gonna pick Alcorn over Prairie View?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I don't know about that one, Charles. I don't know about that one, baby.
Time out.
Yeah, let's take a break on that. I'll talk about it.
Hey, Carlo, get your break. Come on back with it.
Play the band.
We're gonna take a time out.
I'm doing this early.
I could never be accused of being a homer. Wow.
Let's talk about it.
He said,
for over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
If you've ever told yourself, I want to get into real estate but don't know where to start, here's something just for you. From Friday, July 31st to Sunday, August 2nd, the Learn Real Estate Fast Masterclass is coming to McKenzie Office Park in College Park. You'll learn wholesaling, commercial investing, and how to purchase property with zero money or credit. I can tell you, education and access are everything. This masterclass is designed to give you both. Whether you're brand new or ready to level up, this is where you start making real moves. Enjoy free lunch, free study materials, and receive a certification of completion. So don't wait. Seats are filling fast. Do not sit on the sidelines while others build wealth. Take that first step toward ownership and legacy. Get your tickets now at learnrealestatefast.com or tickpick.com. For more information, call 678-859-3303. Master the market. Build your legacy. Secure your future today.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. I got to drink some protein drink. Caramel flavor after that one. Wow. Trending moment, going viral, huh?
Yep.
Alcorn State. Charles said Alcorn State. will be picked first over Prairie View. I can't believe that. I said Southern University. What I think prognosticators will have Southern University middle of the pack, third. I can even see a fourth. Wouldn't be the first time. A couple years ago, they were picked fourth. A lot of unknown about Southern University football program. I will give you that. Based on what I saw in the spring game, they're going to be a better team. But they've got to put it on the field. That's a fact.
You have to remember who's voting. Okay, so
Charles,
you got the IDs and the coaches. So
Charles, what do you see that would make you think Alcorn would be the number one pick? What are you seeing?
Jalen Tolbert.
Wow, one quarterback.
A vastly improved Jalen Tolbert. The light bulb went off for Jalen Tolbert at quarterback, and one of the biggest issues that we had was Jalen Tolbert not running the football, not using his legs. It really hurt us early in the season against UAPB and Alabama A&M. But the light bulb went off in Tallahassee on their homecoming. Great crowd, great atmosphere. He had a big run in that game early in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden he realized, man, I can run the football. I can use my legs. And ever since then, even though we lost that FAMU game, ever since then, Jalen Tolbert has been very effective, and the offense was very effective at times, starting with that game. So Jalen Tolbert coming back, there is no indecision in terms of who the starting quarterback's going to be. And there are certain people in the social media space who've ranked the top quarterbacks going into the season, and Jalen Tolbert was one of those. So
Charles, didn't you guys lose a few coaches on the staff?
We did. We lost our strength and conditioning coach. We did lose a couple of coaches. Yes.
Okay. All that's going to have to play a part.
All of it will. Yes. It will. But when you talk about football, any football team, and this is just Charles Edmonds' opinion, it starts with the coach and the quarterback. And so Jalen Tolbert coming back, learning from his mistakes, almost beat Jackson State, won 5 out of his last 6 games. If we see that new and improved Jalen Tolbert with a new OC, by the way, I think the Braves will be there. Now, the question is, our running back room is going to be rebuilt. We lost our top 2 running backs. Defensively, we got some pieces we gotta get mended together. But if Jalen Tolbert can be the Jalen Tolbert that we saw at the back end of last year, the Braves will be there. And so that's why I'm confident. Now, the big game that a lot of people are talking about, Alcorn at Prairie View on their homecoming. But we got 3 big games before that we got to get through. UAPB in Memphis, we got Grambling and Texas Southern before we play Prairie View. So we got to get through those tough games first, but I think the Braves will be there if Jalen Tolbert can be the Jalen Tolbert we saw at the back end of last year.
Well, from my experience, I've never seen, unless it's McNair, a person that can just do it all. It's more than just a quarterback.
It is, but it starts with the quarterback, though. When you talk about any football team, it starts with the quarterback. I mean, and so Jalen Tolbert had some nice throws, but they were giving him lanes to run the football and take off. He didn't, but he figured it out, and he's going to have to do better with that. And so I think he will. We got a new OC, and so that'll have to be worked through. But I think the Braves will be right there. It's going to be tough. We open up with Miles and we go to USM. We got North Alabama. It ain't going to be easy. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be a bed of roses. But I just look at the quarterback position for any team, whether it's Patrick Mahomes, whether it's Matthew Stafford, or whether it's Jalen Tolbert. And I don't even want to start with my Rams because that's a whole nother rant that I would get on. Because I'm just not convinced, even with Myles Garrett, that it's going to be the answer. So other issues going on with that. But the quarterback position is better, I think. A better Jalen Tolbert, I think the Braves will be there. And we talked about Southern, the unknown. I mean, this go-go offense, quarterback. Trey Holly, I think, will be the key. If and you got a Hall of Fame running back who's the head coach, who knows about the running game. And I think that will help Southern University, I think, in terms of how that season goes, regardless of the quarterback. You got to be able to run the football. And Trey Holly has shown he can run the football. So I think that'll be important for Southern University. But when you look at the voting, 2-10 last year, the unknowns, you got Prairie View, you got Alcorn, you got Grambling. I mean, you look at the teams that Southern didn't beat. 4th, 5th.
Coach Pettaway.
Yes.
You don't look convinced.
Well,
I'm not convinced.
No. I'm not convinced of them as being number one. No. To me, because Prairie View is the defending champ, I think they're still number one until somebody beats them, dethrones them, right? Mm-hmm. But Charles in himself, I mean, when he explained it, he gave us a lot of reasons not to believe that they'll be there. He's talking about the defense not there. No, I'm serious. Talk about the holes on defense and this kind of stuff. So that's why I guess that's the way I was looking at, where I'm like, wait a minute. He's giving me all these different reasons why they shouldn't be number one. So I don't know, but like I said, it's all on paper right now anyway. It's got to just come out on the field. It's got to come out on the field.
If I'm wrong, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, I screwed it up. These are all predictions.
And I will let you know about it.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm raising my hand right now. I will eat plenty of crow and bat and squirrel and whatever goes with that. I don't have a problem with it. And I love the Jaguar Nation. Trust me. When Southern, and I've heard people say when Southern, even Jay Walker said, for those who like Jay Walker or not, when Alcorn is good, the rest of the league is good. He has said that. He has said that on the air. When Southern is good, the SWAC is good. Jackson has been good. So when you look at that, we were good towards the end, but we threw away some games early in the season. And so I think if we can improve that and not throw away some games early, I think we had Prairie View on the ropes last year at our place, and I took a sack. If Jalen Tolbert didn't take a sack and we knocked ourselves out of field goal range, we could have walked off with a field goal and beat Prairie View last year. But last year's last year. But we go to Prairie View this year. So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting to talk about. Brown coming back at A&M, Body at Alabama State, Tolbert at Alcorn. We'll see what happens with Southern. Prairie View's quietly doing their thing. They got some NIL money to improve that roster. What is Mickey Joseph going to do at Grambling? I mean, Mickey Joseph has been quiet.
When Bethune-Cookman, didn't they come on strong down the stretch?
Bethune-Cookman played well. They
down the stretch.
They beat FAMU. Carlos, another coach that I think will get some play is Quinn Gray at FAMU. I thought it was a hell of a hiring Quinn Gray. I mean, it was kind of talked about behind the scenes, but Quinn Gray's doing some good stuff despite the postseason stuff. He's had a good camp, had over 400 people in his camp. So people are rallying around him down there. And I think Quinn Gray has the temperament. He was at Alcorn for 1 year as quarterbacks coach. Very professional, very low key, very straightforward. And I think they need that. And I think Quinn Gray's going to have that program really going. And I think FAMU could very well be, a spoiler in some of this stuff when it's all said and done.
Well, it's interesting at this time. So I'm going to give you an opportunity now. Do you want to change? You're putting a lot out there. And you notice with me, look. With Southern, hey, there is some unknowns, but I talked about the O-line has changed. They are physically different. And I'll leave it at that. Mm-hmm. Quarterback room, yeah, they just added a piece. Many people think he will come in and be the starter, but Coach Falk says if a freshman wins fall camp, that's who's going to start. It's about competition. Schedule. It's tough, but FAMU has a tough schedule. Mm-hmm. Me and Kevin were on the HBCU Hour this past Thursday, and they were talking about FAMU's schedule. So there's a lot of intangibles. I'd rather have a quarterback that manages the game. He doesn't have to win it by himself.
Right.
You have just put a lot of pressure on that young man. I don't know whether you know it or not. You put a lot of pressure on him. Now, with Southern, the go-go offense, it's from what I've seen, and I'm still studying it, it's a physical offense. The best example, you can go look at UNLV. They run the football. Will, you would love this. You'll know game one, and that's what I said on the HBCU hour. We'll know game one how this season could go. You're going up against the Alabama State team that's traditionally tough defensively. Now they've got Andrew Body, and I hate to say it, but some of the people in the chat room, it seems like they're scared to death of Andrew Body. He's talented, yes, but he's going to be on the field just like everybody else. And I would kiss him every chance I get. Not physically, with you know what I'm saying?
Put some heat on him.
I'll tell you, Tremaine has muddied the waters for all first-year coaches in terms of expectations. Because, even now, we're discussing Quinn Gray and, Marshall Falk and all these first-year guys, like they're coming in to walk on water. And that's not going to necessarily be the case. So I think, folk going to need to back down a little bit in terms of the expectations of these first-year coaches. It's going to be harder than they think it's going to be.
Right. I think what helped Coach Jackson was he was able to bring in some of his own people. And when I say that, he brought in some of them same players that he'd already had now. Those players helped him make that transition. These other coaches coming in, unless Coach Gray had brought some of them horses that he had down there, it's going to be different. We know Coach Falk didn't have anybody. So the difference with Tremaine Jackson and these other new coaches, he brought in people that were already familiar with his system. And that helped them make that transition.
And we've seen guys that, we can go across different sports, from the Landon Bussies of the world to Brittany Beal, how coaches can come into this conference, and even Chris Crenshaw win right away. So we've seen it happen. It can be done. It has been done. So can Coach Falk get it done? Who knows? We've seen it happen. Coach Sanders got it done. Despite the spring, once the full season's hit after COVID, you saw what he did. So it can be done, and it has been done. So I'm not taking away from that at all. But I just think that based on the 2-win season last year, this is Charles Evans' opinion, I think it's going to be difficult. There
you go again. You just emphasized 2-10 again. Oh, right.
What else you got to go on? What else you got to go on? And what happened last year, though? When you're making a prediction, and the unknown, the only thing you can go on is the latest body of work. The latest body of work is 2-10.
Well, I think Alcorn body of work. Yeah, they started bad.
We were 5-7. Won 5 out of our last 6 games.
But that is not enough to, everybody has their opinion. To me, Willa, that's not enough.
No, it's not.
The evidence that you laid out basically, to me, said it's one person. If he does well, then they will somewhat do well. If he doesn't, then that season is cooked. And I still think that's a lot of pressure on one person. Purview. They backed it up, right? Tremaine Jackson. And then what I like about him, look at that schedule. I guess he helped put that schedule together. Look who they starting off with.
Yeah.
We're going to find out right there. Tulsa State is a beast. But he says, look, bring us the best.
Right.
Let's see where we stand.
Yeah.
Southern, unknown. You've got a head football coach that has a high IQ. But the thing I like about him is the staff that he put together. Because the emphasis is always on the head coach, but the assistant coaches, Coach Pettaway, to me, is just as important.
They're
if
more
not
important, in
so.
my opinion. They're more
Mhm.
important.
Okay.
Who you put around you, to me, is more important. My
Mhm.
success was not all mine. My assistants did the work. They put in
Mhm.
work now. The head coach gonna get the credit, but those are the
Mhm.
guys that build your program and get things done. Those assistant coaches now.
And
So it's
valid
very
point. And then everybody, I think, in the conference is they have improved. You know, Texas Southern, UAPB. I think that's their goal, to improve. But at the end of the day, we'll be able to compare and contrast.
Right.
So I'm not going to get up on here and talk about, well, you know, my expectations. Remember, I said, Willa, I tampered it down.
Mhm.
And I'm glad, rightfully so, coming in.
Mhm.
Now,
But you ain't tapping down in no fifth place, though, are you?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And guess what? 2-10, there's nowhere to go but up.
Hmm.
I'll be damned if they equal that record again this year. Bet the house, the mortgage, the kids, throwing the cash. I'm very interested in how it's going to play out. You know, in Birmingham, championship not won in Birmingham. As much as we like to talk about it and give our opinion. Can I get an amen, Wheeler?
Amen.
But
it's going to be played on that field.
Yeah, that's a tough game for Coach Falks first, though.
Mm-hmm.
Going up in Bama State with man, that's tough.
I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it any other way, Wheeler.
Does that game count, Carlos, in the standings?
No, but it counts on the record.
It counts on the record, so it doesn't count in the 8. Okay.
Well, my man said all games matter.
Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay.
Let's go to the chat room. When is Coach Falk coming on the show? We're still working on it. But I will say this, and I'm going to be brutally honest. We do have assistant coaches coming up. That I'm more interested in that, to be honest with you. Let's see. I respect Tremaine Jackson and his out of conference schedule, Emmett says.
Yeah.
Emmett says Sam Shea did get off to a great start. He beat Tennessee State in Nashville.
Hey, Coach Pettaway, I saw Sam Shade when we played Alabama A&M in Huntsville in basketball. Our hotel is where they had the recruits, and I saw Sam Shade in the lobby of the hotel. I shook his hand. I said, "Coach, glad to see you." But I started to say, you cannot get blown out again in the Magic City. I started to tell him that. My lips were ready to say, "Hey man, you can't let that." You can't let your doors get blown off again in Magic City. I didn't say that, but I was thinking about it, and so I think that's a safe statement. I mean, because that don't happen too often. And I know Bulldog fans, they talk about the Magic City more than any other game. I've said that, and I've talked to Bulldog fans. They don't talk about many other games but the Magic City. Right. And I'm sure Alabama State fans talk about the Magic City too. And so far, Alabama State's been on the top end of that over the last few years. But if Brown is healthy, I do think Alabama A&M could be a team to keep an eye on.
Right. Quad has been looking good during the spring, and they are looking for him to be 100% by the time the season starts. So I think Quad will help them. You got to remember that when he was quarterback of the team, they were 3-1 before he got hurt.
Yeah.
So they're optimistic, and you know I'm just waiting. It's a wait and see game.
There you go, Coach Pettaway. That's what I would say. Yeah. Bet under, not over. Charles, we're giving one last opportunity. You still stick with it. Okay.
I stand on business. I stand on it.
Yeah. Pat Rogers said he was shocked.
Oh, NBA. Oh, now we're on the NBA now. That's a good one. That's a good segue. Good segue.
Yep, we're getting ready to transition to that. The NBA Finals. I was sitting there in the man cave and I just said I just witnessed history, has to be, and I have to go back and look, but as of now, has to be the biggest choke job in the history of the NBA. Here's the problem I have, Coach Pettaway. You're about 29. You know the old saying, you live by the 3, you die by the 3, and you put up 8 or 9 in a row, you're missing them. Wemby's still out on the wing. He can't help it. He's from Europe, right? That's the kind of style they play. Wouldn't it have been just so simple to say, okay, let's put him in at least at the free throw line or in the post and work it inside out? They didn't do it. To another point, all of the national prognosticators, they put all the blame on Aaron Fox. Look, that you could spread the blame on that one. From calling the extra timeout. Fox, the veteran on the team, he just dribbled the ball and let them foul you, and the game's basically over. Wemby missed 2 free throws. You can point to that. That game just guaranteed to, in my opinion, the Knicks win it in 6. Now, what kind of competitiveness tonight can San Antonio get it done? Then on the other side, some people say the Knicks, this is their game 7. Close it out tonight.
Right. I think you're going to see a very competitive game. But let me just go back to something because some of my former players and coaches, they commented on what my timeout would have been like. During that game, when they were on that run, when New York was on the run coming back, and they were coming back because San Antonio was taking all those threes. Carlos, in my timeout, you would have had a choice. It was either going to be your neck or your ankle. But one was going to get broke if you shoot another damn 3. If you shoot another 3, I'm going to either break your neck or I'm going to break your ankle. Hit the ball inside. And that's what we were laughing about because it's the truth. That's what I would have said. Fella, what the hell are you doing? If you shoot another 3, it's going to be disastrous for you.
You're playing right into that.
Go to the basket, man. Mid-range shot. Don't stand out there shooting the 3s. They gave that game away. They gave that game away, man.
And Coach Pettaway,
it's enough blame to go around from the coaching staff to the players, because you can be a coach on the floor. A player can stand up and be a coach on the floor. I guarantee you, Obi Trotter wouldn't allow them to stand out there and shoot them 3s.
That's right. I was just thinking about that at the FP Plug.
He would have done that. Willie Hayes wouldn't have done that. Because Willie Hayes would have told you ain't gonna get the ball. It's going inside. Yep. So
you know what they say, right? One bad shot is a bad shot. 2 bad shots is a bad player.
Yep.
But 3 bad shots, that's a bad coach.
Yep.
Because he's allowing that to happen.
Right.
And it was 8 straight 3-pointers. Now, technically, if you hit 2 of those, you may win it in the squeaker. And most of the wins have been what? Under 7 points.
Yep.
And some people have said it should be 3-1 San Antonio.
Absolutely.
Woulda, shoulda. Very disappointing. I just couldn't believe it.
Yep.
I could not believe what I just witnessed.
On the highest level.
As great as that comeback was, my takeaway from it, I kind of felt sorry for San Antonio. You got a 29-point lead on the road at the Garden. Man, it don't get any better than that. But then it don't get any worse than that. But the series isn't over. They're at home tonight. And I do expect San Antonio to bounce back. And I think if you're a Knicks fan, you better think about closing it out tonight, because you come back 3-2, the pressure's on you at the Garden. And some of the pundits have said it's a lot of pressure to win at the Garden with the media and the fans and all that. So if you're a Knicks fan, you want to close it out tonight. You don't want to come back home 3-2 with San Antonio getting off the deck, in my opinion.
I'll be like,
I think players play. Players play. At the end of the day, players play. Yeah. So I kind of look at it exactly the opposite. I wouldn't give a damn if it was in the parking lot. Players play. When they're ready to play, they're ready to go and get it. It doesn't matter what the venue is to them. They playing. They balling. Now the fans like all that attention and all that sort of thing and stuff, but the players lacing them up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well,
and then the other thing.
You would have called a timeout if you was coaching that team. Don't you get on here and say you wouldn't call a timeout? I'm coming for your ankles.
Definitely, especially if I see you going out of control and we've blown a 20-something point lead. Hell yeah, that might have been the second or third timeout. Let me stop this bleed.
I would call 2 timeouts. I mean, Coach Pettaway, would you have exhausted all your timeouts?
Every one of them. What I'm taking home for? Please, stop this mess. We're gonna stop this. And you gonna listen. And if you're not gonna listen, you're gonna come over here and be an assistant.
Somebody sitting down. You got that right. You got that right. Come on over here and sit with me. I need some company.
Yeah.
they look at Jerry Jones wasn't the owner. He probably came down from the suite right behind the bench. Call a timeout. Call a timeout. But on a serious note, though, Wimby, Coach Pettaway, in our text messages this week, he is, according to the NBA, the face of the league. Not only the face of the league, the face of the world. Because now basketball is global. With that being said, what does he have to do to improve? What specific things you see him? No, he has to still improve on some things. What does he have to do?
Well, to me, to be honest now, first of all, to me, he has not earned the title of the face of the league. That's number one. That's me. That's just me now. I got my own opinion. He is not earned that yet.
Who
they
would
want him to be. I think you have to work your way into that.
I agree with that, but who would be the face of the league?
It might not be any.
That's
right.
It might not be any.
Right. He has to continue to develop as a player. His immaturity comes out at different times. The coaching staff is not helping him out because he's on the floor too long. He couldn't do nothing down the stretch. He wanted to block shots. He physically couldn't do it because he was too tired. He didn't have any. He didn't have any rest in that second half.
He ain't tough enough, Carlos. He ain't mean enough.
Right,
ain't no nasty streak there. He did
in that last game when he knocked down Jalen Brunson, and Brunson almost.
Who did he knock down, Charles? Who did he knock down? It ain't like he knocked down somebody of substance. I'm talking about from a physical point of view.
Well.
Show me the butter. Show me the butter. Let me see.
Yeah. And I'm gonna kind of agree with Willa, because if I look at the 90s and the 80s, it was that play you saw 10 times worse than that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. But even at this, they are allowing them to be more physical in this series, and he's not handling that, man.
Yeah.
That's why he's not going in that paint, because every time he go in there, they putting some on him. So it's easy for him to stay on the perimeter. But see, that's where the coaching staff has to come into play. They got to call plays that puts him in the mid-range. I'm not saying low block, but he at least, to me, got to be in the mid-range. A high post. He doesn't have to be in the low post. He has, to me, 1 foot needs to be in the lane somewhere in order for him to be
what they
effective.
call it, don't you? They call it a weight room issue. It's a weight room issue.
Yep.
You know, for me, this whole face of the league thing, can we put a button on that? Can we back down off of that for right now? If you talk about the NBA in the past, the Larry Birds, the Michael Jordans, the LeBron James, the Dr. J's, the Magic Johnsons, what do they all do? Most of them, they won a championship, right? So I think that this is Charles Edmonds' definition. I think you got to attach a championship to it. And right now, Wemby, and I don't think Wemby wants that title. I mean, we're all giving it to him. Most of us. I'm not yet. He will be down the road, but we're talking about right here and right now. He's not there yet. And it's okay if he's not there. I think we're looking for a face of the league. We're looking for the next LeBron. We're looking for the next Larry Bird. We're looking for the next Dr. J or whomever it is, the next Magic. But it ain't, not right now. So that for me, I don't even want to have that conversation. He's down 3-1. And, he's getting a little feisty. There's no doubt about it, which he should, because they coming after him and he's coming after them. But right now, no, he's not the face of the league. And I know I'm in the minority on this. The league wants that. And that's fine. But we all have our opinions about it. And for me, hoist that championship trophy and then let's come back and have a conversation about it. But for right now, no. I don't know who the face of the NBA is right now. I don't know if there is one. I don't know if there is one right now. And that's okay. I think it's okay. You're gonna have 9
crying. He got to stop crying. Every time I see an interview with him, he got tears coming out of his eyes.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Yeah.
Where your heart at, son? Come on.
And here's the other thing. You can talk when you win a game, but when you lose, you don't want to see the microphone. Why?
Right.
That's a part of it. That's a part of growing up. That you want to be the face of the league, then this is a part of it. You got to be able to handle it when you win. You also got to be able to handle it when you lose.
That's why he's not ready.
Well, let's look back. I think Magic won in his first year, right? A rookie, the NBA championship.
Yeah, look who Magic had with him.
Yeah,
Magic, so he had what, 3 Hall of Famers on that team with him?
Yeah.
Or 4? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carlos.
But that's the exception. Larry Bird didn't win it his first year. Right?
No.
It's time to develop.
Yeah.
The greatest player of all time.
Third or 4th year, right? Yep.
And people debating that. Michael Jordan. It was a process. They couldn't get through the Celtics. Then they got through the Celtics. Then they couldn't get through the Pistons. Then they got that. And then you talk about stamina. Michael Jordan, to me, what made him great, not only was he offensively a great player, but man, he get after you behind defensively. He was a two-way player. So Wemby has time to grow. Now, general manager, remember we talked about that earlier, and the staff, OKC, to me, they've done a great job. See how they had that big 3 at first. Then they went away with that, Durant and them, and the guy with the beard Harden.
Yeah.
The way they did the structure of that program, that franchise, all the picks that they got, they were able to build. So someone said in the chat room, the Spurs need to get a little bit more to help him out. But Wemby, from a style in Europe. That's the way they play. Will he be able to adapt?
Yes,
to your point, and get at least mid-range to the free throw line.
Right. I think he will. He just needs time. I think we're expecting too much of him at such an early age. You got to remember, this man. He's not even a grown man yet. He's still a young kid, man. So give the man a chance to grow physically. And then the mental aspect will be there.
Yeah.
So he's got time, man. He's got time. This may not be his year, but I tell you, San Antonio's coming.
Well, I like those 2 guards and Harper coming off of the bench.
Yeah, Castle. You like Castle? Castle.
Oh yeah, and he's young, but one Big Perk on the national scene said he would implement Harper in the starting lineup and take Fox out. What do you think about that?
No, I think you need Fox on the floor. But you need Fox to be the Fox that he's been prior to him getting to San Antonio. To me, he has deferred since he's been there, and I think that hurts them a lot. Because you got to remember now, Fox used to play like SGA. He was more of a mid-range player. I mean, he's shake and bake on the perimeter, get in the lane, mid-range game. That was him. But he has changed. he's not as aggressive on the offensive end since he's been at San Antonio. I think he needs to go back to being that 20 point plus score. And I think that'll help open things up for San Antonio more. He and Castle together, I think they make a good combination.
So San Antonio, you think wins tonight?
Yeah, I think San Antonio will win tonight. I think so. I'm sorry.
I have one question. What do you think De'Aaron Fox was thinking? He got the steal. I mean, we all know in hindsight, if he just dribbled it out on the perimeter, let him chase, let him foul, he hit free throws, they probably win. What was he thinking? Was he trying to? Do you think he was trying to draw a foul right? Because there was some contact there. They didn't blow the whistle. I'm wondering what was he thinking in that situation.
Well, let me tell you one of the things I think we've all missed. He barely caught up with that ball in the first place. So his momentum, in his mind, he probably was saying, I only got a shot at shooting this. I think if he continued to try to control that ball, he might have lost it out of bounds. I don't know, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he's not 100% no excuse, but I didn't notice it.
Yeah,
but they were talking about it.
Yeah, he didn't.
And then he probably thought I'm gonna do what everybody thinks I shouldn't do, and go to the basket. Because everybody in America probably said, pull the ball back out, pull it back out, and all conventional wisdom probably said the same thing. Yeah, he thought he saw something there that wound up not being there.
Yeah,
and paid for it accordingly.
But you would agree it's enough blame to go around. I wouldn't.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It's not on him now.
If I'd had my last time out, damn it, I would have called it right then.
You had time out.
And guess what?
I think they went home with two. I think they went home with 2 timeouts.
But if he makes that layup, OG doesn't get that block.
It puts him up by 3. Now you know they got to shoot 3. Yep.
But teams with no heart have to import some. You look at guys like Jordan and them when they came into the league, they were quote unquote kind of soft, that sort of thing. But the team surrounded them with those enforcer types, and they were able to feed off of that physicality to the point where they wound up becoming more physical themselves and adapting and adjusting to the game. So I think with Wemby, they got to surround him with some heart.
Yep.
They got to surround him with some toughness.
Yep.
And hope and pray that some of that rub off, and that the light bulb comes on, that he's able to do the things that he needs to do on his own to where he no longer needs that toughness around him.
Right. And he needs an Oakley. He needs a Dennis
Rodman.
He needs some, even a Bill Cartwright.
Yeah.
Remember, he was number one, but he would beat your butt up down there.
Would. Would.
You get him some toughness like that. Let that other guy be your enforcer.
Yeah.
Wemby is not going to be anybody's enforcer. He can be an intimidator, but he's not an enforcer. There's a big difference. He when he's in the lane, when he's allowed to be in that lane, he makes people change their shot. Even if he's not blocking them, he makes them change their shot. So let him be that, get him an enforcer, and I think they'll be okay.
I don't know if he's done this, but I know God rest his soul. Oh my goodness. They would go down to Houston and work with 2 people. One is Elijah, and he's still Shaquille went and do it. Yep. Yeah. Now, Elijah was per se not an enforcer, but his skill set. Wemby's skill set is good. But I think if working with Elijah, I think that would help. And then back to Jordan. Jordan went in that weight room. And he got tougher. And he was strong, the stamina. And Moses Malone, he never got a break. My God, he would outwork people. I used to hate, and I was a Lakers fan then, to go up against Philly in that situation. Now, let me put a button in that one. There has been some news, hadn't been able to confirm about the Greek Freak. Now there are, I don't know if we put it out, rumors out there, but now they got some teams involved. Boston now has become involved. Brown getting traded. Atlanta name has been brought up. Even the Pelicans. Oh my God. Pat Riley called me on that one.
Minnesota.
Well,
Yeah,
but the latest is the Boston Celtics.
Well, I can see that. If all you giving up is Jaylen Brown and a couple of draft picks, hey, man, I'll make that trade. I'll make that trade because you got a healthy Tatum. You still got White. You still got enough. Huh?
What? I mean, you have a dynamic duo.
Money.
And I know Jaylen Brown has put his house up for sale. His house is up for sale, according to reports. I look at that Boston situation like, what in the hell is going on? I mean, what?
They're not meshing, man.
Why? Is it mental? Is it physical? Is it pride?
Brown and Tatum are having issues, man. They're just not sharing that with us, man.
Yeah. It didn't help how they lost in the playoffs.
Right.
One. Then they got new owners, right? I think.
Yeah. Got to shed salary. They have to shed salary.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think I think it'll be a salary move for them, Carlos. They got to get down, man. Boston's up too high. But before we leave, did you all hear what Charles Barkley said? Did you all understand what Charles Barkley said about he's only faced 2 players in his career that gave him the business? Did anybody else hear that?
I missed it.
Y'all missed it. Because a guy in the SWAC gave him the business. Lewis Jackson. On national television, Charles Barkley said he's only been outdone by 2 players in his entire career. He said one of them is named Lewis Jackson at Wetumpka High School. That's our Lewis Jackson at Bama State. He gave Charles Barkley the business.
The round of rebound.
He gave him credit this past week on national TV.
I didn't hear that, but I heard the other comment about the dumbest. The dumbest.
Cardi B.
Yep.
But I'm glad that this is going to happen because the team that was number 1 of getting him, I'm sorry, Pat Riley, giving up too much. You could give away. Don't give away where. You can. What's off guard? I'm having a middle-aged moment
Hero.
now. You give up Hero defensive liability, but where I think is
don't give up Ware.
Don't give up him.
You need Ware and both of them together. You need them together now.
Bill, and I know, Pat, you want to win now. You remember we had the show where Roy came in? And no, Miami, you need to build for the future. Long term.
You said
Pat ain't got no future, Charles. Pat ain't got no future.
Well,
Pat's future is now.
He ought to be blessed. He's been there 50-something years. He's been there that long. Turn it over. Well, let's say if he doesn't. Yeah. But I like the way OKC and Boston has built that franchise. That's the way, to me, in my humble opinion, to build it up. I have to ask myself the question. 4 years ago, Guinness is a difference maker where one person, like Alcorn's quarterback, can make a difference. But you can't do it now. You can't do it now. It's now.
But
build for the future.
But Carlos, you talk about winning now. the NBA finance model does not allow you to keep these stars for very long. The New York Knicks are going to have decisions to make regardless of what happens with Cat. Even has been reported this week, Jalen Williams at OKC, the big contract he's going to get. You're only going to be able to keep these teams together for so long with the aprons and staying away from it. You got a short window. Philadelphia is on the clock. They're going to have to, so I think this win now moment is true in the NBA. You're going to have your 9th different champion, I think, in the last 9 years.
Yeah,
but that's a trend now. But if you want to build a franchise, I'm just saying the example is OKC, number one, how you build. And I just think Miami should use that model. I understand Pat Riley wants to win now because they may find him passed away in the office. Come on. No. Why I'm saying that? Hear me out. Why I'm saying that is that's been his life.
Yes.
And in his life, he always says, I have to win now. But the reality is they're not in the position. I present my case. Guinness coming there will not put them one doggone step closer. One step closer. So why not use the model that OKC has done? It's a proven winner. And right now it's about the salary cap and the second apron and the first apron. And Miami is below the second apron and has a chance to get under the first apron. So win now or win later and win later.
Yeah. And Carlo, before we leave, give your NC2, your SWAC athlete, track people some love. Give them some love. Remember you were talking about the SWAC athletes?
I got to find out.
Track and field.
Yeah, did she made it to the finals? Did she win? I know North Carolina A&T had a couple of athletes, and they were number 12 overall in the standings. That was going into, I guess, today is the last day.
Yeah.
Right.
Did she win?
Oh, I'm not sure. I thought you had the results. I'm sorry. I thought you had it. Okay. I know you wanted to mention it, is what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. They did what a great story, and I'm gonna make an effort to get her on. That's a story that they dreamed, right? But they made it a reality. And so I guess now I'm gonna have faith. I'm not gonna be in the FG Clark Center with a sign saying the non-conference doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. I hope she won. K Love says she won. So she's a national champion. Oh, wow.
That's tremendous.
Yes.
I'm glad she didn't have that that vision of saying, well, I'm capped. I can't do no more. She went in that doggone and got it done. And the North Carolina A&T team. Kudos. Will to your alma mater. Now they should have stayed in the MEAC, but that's another story.
Yeah, but they've invested a lot in track over the years. Matter of fact, probably almost just as much as they've invested in football. But I mean, facility-wise and scholarship-wise, and the whole 9 yards. So they're reaping the rewards.
Right.
And finally, I would just like to say in the chat room, continue on. We had an interesting discussion. SU Lady Track Star competes in the finals at 7:42 Central Standard Time. All right. On ESPN. We're pulling for you.
Yep.
We're pulling for you. It's been an interesting conversation. Chat room. Do you think is it okay to dream?
Oh, yeah.
And do you think on the basketball level should, again, the vision, the goal should be to get better and to try to do better, especially in those non-conference games? Remember we had the athletic directors on, 3 or 4 of them. Some of them talked about, I know Coach Scott talked about the competitiveness. Others talked about we still not where we need to be. We need to have those guarantee games to keep us afloat. But also, Wheeler, who is a hardcore, but Wheeler even believe it should be some balance.
Yeah.
With those non, and that's the ultimate goal I think you should have right now, short term. Long term, let's dream. Let's try to make it a reality to get that 14th, 15th seed.
Especially when you're a one-trick pony. Especially when you're a one-trick pony.
I don't think it's an unrealistic goal. What do you think, chat room?
All righty. Let's see what they say next week. Yep.
The task is not to dream, but to work. Two things can be true at once. Until next time, and Pat Riley, leave me alone. I know you're angry. Until next time at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for another
Go Spurs
of the College Brown Show, right here on the Black College Sports Network. Until next time, peace and God bless.